As you're initially standing here, soften your knees and then really zip up through the low belly. And every time we go to take a step, can you do that with that tail reaching long? Yeah, and never letting it pop back and point back like we're on our way to a squat. We're very tall, even though the knees are soft. Exactly. And when you get to one end of the mat, we can just make our way back. And you might find one direction is trickier than the other. Yeah, nice tall posture there. Good. And let's just keep on trucking one end of the mat to the other. Lots of breath. And we're taking the biggest step that we can, and then the following leg, trying to make it a small step. So we keep always some distance between the feet. Looks good. Nice. We're almost there. Just breathing and stepping. Be sure you're smiling. Yes, it's wonderful. Our hips are getting so strong. All right, good. And now let your feet come all the way together for a sec. Bring that thing up right above your knees. Okay, now we'll step back apart to hip width. Totally the opposite of everything we were just doing. Sit way back, so our weight's way back into the heels, toes feel light. And then staying low, bowing the knees as much as you can. And then just into alignment with the toes, not going in any narrower than that. So as wide as we can go, limiting the pull in. Exactly. Now, the longer we're here, the tail might start to try to tuck under. So how do we keep the tail feathers really fluffed up behind us, long through the tail, not tucking under? Good, so we're hitting all the angles. Last 3, 2, and one more time out, and hold that sense of bowing the legs. It's okay if you feel like the weight is on the outer edges of the feet. Knees pressing, pressing, pressing. 5, breathing. 4, we're still back in the heels. 3, 2, let the knees slowly come in toward neutral and rise up out of there. Awesome. Okay, we can get rid of that loop. Let's go ahead and grab your weights. We're gonna do biceps, so the amount of weight that feels appropriate for working your biceps. And if you don't like the held baby lunge, then you can always just stand on 2 feet, totally fine. But if you wanna do the mini lunge, start from your hip width apart stance and be sure you stay on your train tracks as the one foot slides back. Now find a stance that's still gonna let us have our tailbone lengthening straight down, so it's not gonna get pulled out from under us. Nice long tail. Let's feel the front heel and the ball of the back foot ground and start to push away from each other, like we're trying to stretch our mat longer. And then just bend the knees a tiny bit, both the same amount, just so they're not quite straight. And here we are as we slowly curl the weights up to the shoulders, super slowly unfold. Let them come all the way back down at first. So as we do this slow, full range of motion, there are a couple things we can play with in our stance. So that back heel is off the floor, but how much do we want to let it drop versus kickstand up high so that foot feels comfortable? And we can keep that strong backward press. Feet are still pressing away from each other. Yes, exactly. We should feel that back glute super fired up because of that backward pressure. Nice, Karen. Okay, on the next one, we're gonna just come down to 90 degrees. Let's keep the palms facing up. And let's do about 2 counts to curl and 2 counts back down to 90 degrees. Feet are still pushing away from each other. We should feel like the mat is just about to tear in half with all that kick. Nice, Sherry, perfect pace there, good. And just a few more times here, beautiful control. I like how everyone's keeping the wrists super straight. You're not letting your weights bend your wrists backwards ever. Yes, awesome. Okay, when we get to 90 degrees, let's do alternation, 1 inch up, 1 inch down. Barely moving, yep. Staying tall, tailbone is still rooting to the ground, feet are still pushing away from each other. Let's do 8 more each way. Breathing, 7, 6, 5, gorgeous. Like how everyone's staying tall, not letting the weights lean you off your center. 2, 1, even the weights out. Rotate thumbs up, slow motion. Let the arms just hang down by the sides. Feet are still pushing away from each other. Let's come down 1 more inch and only come up 1 inch. And let's take 2 seconds to come down the inch, 2 seconds to come up the inch. Good. Breathing. Yes, and I love how tall everyone is staying, that perfect vertical. All right, next time we come down the 1 inch, let's stay. Push the feet apart as hard as you can without actually sliding, please, for 5, 4, 3, 2. Let's lean into that front heel, step in and go for a walk. You are amazing. Okay, after you take a loop around, let's just even things out by standing in front of the chair. We're gonna do our chair tap squats. So if you feel like you wanna put a cushion on to have a higher target, please do that. Feel free to take your wider stance. Now let's do a big shoulder loop up and back without popping the ribs and down. So feel your shoulder blades as far as possible down the back. And so as we swing the tailbone way back to tap the chair and then slowly press to rise back up, track your shoulder blades that they are staying all the way down the back, especially as the spine angles forward. Yeah, we're not gonna let those shoulders round at all. Yeah, so it should feel a little bit like we're pinching the shoulder blades together as we lean. Yes, collarbones stay wide open. That looks good. Now that we've got that set, let's only come halfway up and all the way down to tap. Halfway up, all the way down, tap. Good. 4, and tap. 3, tap. Good. 2. I love how everyone's really limiting how high we come up. 1 more time, halfway up, hold. Stick the tailbone 1 inch farther back behind you. Squeeze your navel an inch closer to your spine. Breathing for 5, 4, 3, 2. Press through the heels to rise. Yes, take another walk about. Beautiful. And then we'll do one more thing with the weights here as you come back to your spot. Let's come back to our hip width parallel. And then the other foot will slide straight back. Now for starters, let's keep both knees pretty straight. Just have any amount of bend you need to be sure the tail is under and not angled back at all. So long tailbone to the ground. Go ahead and take your bicep curl up to the shoulders and find that place that feels actually pretty relaxed, like your elbows, your upper arm bones. Some part of your arm bone is resting in on your rib cage. Yeah, and the weight is just stacked over the elbow. All right, so remember, most important thing is that the weight stays right on top of the shoulder. And so we're sliding up a vertical path and then sliding all the way back down. Come fully back to that rest position as we're getting started here. So we're not trying to straighten the elbows all the way. In fact, we don't want to because that would rest the working muscles a little bit if we stack the joints like that. Yeah, but just finding that vertical trajectory to slide the weights up, slide the weights down. Good. So now we know how high we're going. Let's only come like 2/3 of the way down. Don't quite come to that full rest on yourself position. So we're staying engaged. All right, now we have our range of motion for the upper body. Let's shift our attention to the legs as the arms keep working. Maybe we put just a tiny bit more bend in the knees, and that way we have power to start pushing the feet away from each other with a little bit more force. Feel that back glute really firing up. Amazing. These look great. Nice lunge, Lorene. That looks so solid and stable. All right, after going up one more time, this time let's only come down halfway, so maybe the elbows are just a little underneath shoulder level. And we'll go up an inch. Now as they come down an inch, let's bring our lunge also 1 inch lower. So everything goes up an inch, everything comes down an inch, and we're still kicking the feet away from each other. Oh boy, this starts to feel heavy fast in this mid-range of motion. Are we still letting those shoulder blades sit all the way down the back? Don't waste any energy shrugging. Last 4. Nice and slow. 3. Gorgeous. Love it. Last 2. Good. Last 1. Come to your lower lunge. Stay there. Let the arms melt all the way down to your sides. And let's just hold right here and push the feet away from each other as hard as we can. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lean into that front heel. Take a walk along your way. You can set your weights down. Nice work.